just entered into discussions with the Sheraton Palace for the last 8 hours, and we were given a 7-page document which is supposed to summarize the agreement, but it seemed that there was only one hitch. The Sheraton Palace wasn't willing to sign.
It was the first major victory of anything I had been involved in. The Sheraton Palace hotel arrests and convictions and trials and so forth led to the first agreement that I knew of in the North of its kind. And that was an agreement between the entire hotel industry and the ad hoc committee to end discrimination to hire minority individuals in all levels of employment, including management. Was very historic, and it was very elevating, and it really pumped us all up to think that, my God, we really could have an effect on history.
Morning, we really knew it was going to happen. We set our tables up right in front of the Sproul Hall steps. I guess I was one of the more noisy people, so a dean came up to me, and he asked me to identify myself, and I refused to identify myself. And he said if I didn't identify myself, I would be arrested. Well, it wasn't the first time that I had been threatened with arrest. 2 policemen took me under the arms. I went limp. They dragged me into the police car. And before I got into the police car, it was surrounded with people. It was 2 minutes to 12. There's this commotion going on. Some people are joining in. Some people are stopping to watch. This police car is going nowhere.
I just did what any of my fellow students, or my fellows in all these organizations, would have done. So I would just single out chance selected me. I'm no martyr.
I found I couldn't understand why people were prohibited from speaking in the plaza. And if this demonstration around this police car was some way to indicate it was wrong, well, it seemed like a good idea to me. I didn't like the idea of seizing a police car very much, but it was certainly a peaceful seizing. People began to speak.
The only reason that I took part in this is because I like Cal very much. I'd like to see it better.
And they'd stand on the car. People were very careful about the car. People would take their shoes off and gently climb up on the car. They moved from the hood of the car up onto the roof of the car. Then the argument raged. Are you with us or are you against us? I wasn't either. I was watching and listening to speeches.
There was an open microphone on top of the police car, and anybody who wanted to speak would sign up on a list, and they had 3 minutes to say anything they wanted to say. And hour after hour, people were getting up and orating. It was like an explosion of ideas.
You know, Aristotle said, if you are not a citizen, you are either a beast or a god. Now I ask you a very simple question.
People start talking, bringing in the Greek philosophers, bringing in the French Revolution, talking about all these ideas, constitutional liberties, as if they had meaning.
Hi, this is Chris Bennett, host of the Burning Chiva Hour. Join us on Pot TV, home of the herb.
On the road again.
Nearly 700,000 Americans were arrested on marijuana charges last year. That's an enormous waste of law enforcement resources and terribly unfair to those arrested and their families. It's time we stopped arresting adults who smoke marijuana responsibly. For more information, visit NORML's website at www.normal.org or call toll-free 888-67-NORMAL and tell them Willie sent you.
Hey, do you have anything on you? Hey, do you have anything on you? Our rebel music.
In other news, 4 police officers in Los Angeles were indicted and placed under arrest Friday for their part in the beating of an unarmed motorist. The 4 were part of the group of police officers which pulled over 25-year-old Rodney King and beat him repeatedly. The indictment charges all 4 with 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon by force. and also violating laws that make it a felony for an officer to unnecessarily beat any person. The district attorney says he will work closely with federal officials.
In particular, I have asked the FBI to assist us by enhancing the video and audio components of this now famous videotape. As the case progresses, we will work with federal authorities to ensure that all appropriate charges are filed under the strongest statutes available in state and federal law.
3 of the officers were released after posting $30,000 bond each, while the other officer posted $5,000 bond.
Jacket I got 9 years ago in Indonesia. It's made out of marijuana. It's 100% hemp. This jacket's 55% hemp. It's made 55% hemp, 45% cotton. It should be noted that half of all the chemicals used on Earth in agriculture are used on cotton. Hemp has no enemies like boll weevils or weeds, so nothing ever disturbs the hemp plant. 1 acre of pot will equal 4 acres of trees for cellulose or paper. The only reason we cut down paper is that hemp's illegal. Virtually all paper was made with hemp and flax rags until about the 1880s. The original Declaration of Independence that's across the street and the Bill of Rights that's across the street in the manuscript room, the ones before they put them on parchment animal skin, are over there across the street at the Library of Congress, and they're made out of pot. Hemp is the only biomass capable of making America energy independent. The closest biomass that grows to hemp on Earth is quinoa. After quinoa is sugarcane, after sugarcane is corn stalks, and all 3 of them together don't equal 5% of hemp, and they're not sustainable. Hemp has no enemies. It can grow in any soil condition, any weather condition, any latitude. It grows in all 50 states, and the only enemy it has is the United States government. What else am I thinking? Well, that you live longer if you smoke pot every day than if you don't do any drugs at all. And you live 8 to 24 years longer than people that regularly imbibe of alcohol and tobacco. The reason you live longer is it dilates your arteries. It opens them up. It lowers your stress level. It allows your body temperature to drop 1/4 to 1/2 degree so you don't metabolize. So any law against marijuana is a law asking another human being to be a lemming for an ignorant congressman and senator. There is no absolute reason on earth that anybody should ever have to do Valium or opium or anything else. Marijuana lowers your stress level, lowers your body temperature, and dilates your arteries better than anything on earth except nitroglycerin. You live longer if you smoke pot, so please smoke pot. Don't smoke tobacco.
1,000 people to gather on the steps of the Vancouver Art Gallery. Many doubted he'd get that many, but in the end, at least 1,000 did show up. More than enough, he said, to make the point, and more than enough to turn the usual downtown routine upside down.
Even the most expanded of minds didn't expect so many people to openly break the law just a few meters from the top court in the province.
Beginning of a long revolution, then what the is? This, my friends, is the herb of life. We're not criminals for using this. That's bullshit.
Pot smokers will tell you that marijuana, unlike alcohol, does not lead to violence.